this is Amy Kerwin with Resource Recovery for the City of San Marcos. And while I'm with the City of San Marcos, what I'll be talking about is stuff that any city can do in emergency preparedness in Hays County. So when we know we're going to have heavy rain or a major flood event heading our way, we want people to go ahead and start cleaning up and picking up any kind of debris in their yards. So this could be anything like toys, trash, or yard debris. Even if you've been working on your yard and you've got tools or any kind of litter that can float. So when we have heavy rains, we're going to have all this material float down into storm drains. Storm drains do not go to the wastewater treatment plant. They actually flow into our waterways. Now we don't want to put any of this into our waterways since all of this water goes down into the Gulf of Mexico. So remember, if we're going to have a major rain event or even a wind event, go ahead and pick up everything out of your yard that might be loose, that would flow into a storm drain and go into our waterways. So next we want to talk about carts, all of our trash carts. Most of us have 3 of them. We have a trash, a recycle, and a green waste cart. On your service days, some people like to put them out into the street just off their curb. And while that might be okay on any regular day, if there's going to be a major rain or wind event, we want to go ahead and move these up out of the street. What this does is this keeps our carts from floating down the street and being lost, 1, from your home, and 2, if it's a really big major event, they may go into our river or our waterways. We've seen this happen multiple times in San Marcos, and we really want to keep these from going into our waterways. Sometimes they're full of trash, so what we know is all this is then floating downstream, becoming a problem for other communities, and eventually going into the Gulf of Mexico. Also, we want to make sure that once these carts have been serviced, we go ahead and pull them back as quickly as possible when we know we're going to have these major events, because again, we don't want these to get blown or blowing away from with any kind of heavy rain or wind. Thank you for taking the time to make sure that you are keeping everything out of the waterways and off of the streets when we're going to have these major events. So then let's talk about what happens when we do have a major event and it is going to be a FEMA certified event. What we need everybody to do is to make sure that they are putting all of their debris on the curb correctly. So if you've had a major flood go through your home and you've taken out all of your construction and demolition debris and all of your furniture, that all gets separated out onto the curb. You'll have a pile that's just for your construction and demolition, one that's for your household furniture, then you'll have your white goods. Make sure your white goods, which are refrigerators and washers and dryers, that those refrigerators get taped shut. We don't want to have any kids get accidentally locked in there. It's a really big safety issue. But also make sure you've taken all of the food out of there, because if it has to sit on the curb for a while in our heat, it will get really stinky. And then we have household hazardous waste needs to be separated out. That has to be disposed of in a special way. Then we'll have all the vegetated debris. You're talking about your tree limbs and any big tree branches or stuff like that. That'll also get separated into a different pile because everything has to be recycled. FEMA is really big into making sure everything is minimizing impact onto our landfills. So all the vegetated debris will be mulched. All the household hazardous waste will be its own pile and it'll get disposed of correctly. The white goods will be recycled. Make sure again that you are taping that refrigerator shut. And then all of the other debris will be separated out. When you're putting it on the curb, make sure it is away from any hazards like mailboxes or fire hydrants or trees, because usually it's going to be a contractor that comes through to pick up everything, and they're going to use what's called a grapple truck, which will have a big claw on it, and they need to be able to access everything. Also, nothing can be inside your property. It needs to be as close to the curb as possible. They are not allowed to go onto private property. So if we had these major events, it's really good for you to remember those ways to separate out all of your debris, just like the flyer that we have posted up here. Thank you very much.